Hi, I'm Steve, and I test the gear and create the reviews you see on the In the Know Cycling YouTube channel and the website. In this video, I'll tell you more about In the Know Cycling and about me and my fellow testers. I'll also tell you how we test and review products and why you can trust what we say and recommend to you. And make sure to stick around to the end of this video when I'll show you how you can compare prices on 75,000 products that we've curated and regularly update from 15 of my top-ranked online cycling stores. In the Know Cycling is a place that helps cycling enthusiasts decide what gear to get next and where to get it. It helps you save time and money and is totally supported by fellow cyclists. It's free of ads, subscriptions, or other industry influence. And it's focused on how to improve your cycling performance and experience rather than the latest product news or hyped up features. I started In the Know Cycling after destroying my rear wheel in a crash and being unable to find the kind of thorough and honest reviews that would help me decide what wheels to get next and where to get them. My trips to several bike shops also frustrated me, as I found a lot of staff who didn't know the products they sold very well and weren't willing to share with me information about the products they didn't sell. So I borrowed a few wheel sets from friends, bought a couple of others, and wrote up my take on how each performed against the kind of criteria that mattered to me as a serious cyclist, what many call a cycling enthusiast. I shared that review around and got some good feedback. Then I started buying, testing, and reviewing other gear I was interested in and could afford to improve my own cycling. Eventually, I set up the In the Know Cycling website in the same spirit to help fellow cycling enthusiasts save time and money in making the right choices about what gear we should get and where we should get it. And to keep it a place cyclists could trust, I built it around an ad-free, subscription-free, paywall-free, sponsor-free model. Basically, a conflict of interest free place supported only by fellow cyclists who get value from my reviews and recommendations. Now, after hundreds of reviews and millions of visitors to the website, and a lot of encouragement from one of my kids, I've started the In the Know Cycling YouTube channel. You might wonder, how do I pull off this very different approach to reviewing cycling gear? Well, I figure if I write performance-focused and truly independent reviews that you as fellow cycling enthusiasts trust and that saves you time and money, then you'll support and feel part of In the Know Cycling. So far, many followers have felt that way. I've also committed to buying and selling or demoing and then returning or donating all the gear I and my fellow testers review. I also don't go on those expense-paid trips to product introduction or industry meetings that can influence some reviewers. And for all the gear I review, I set up links in those reviews and in the videos to the best stores that carry the gear at the best prices. Some of those stores pay a commission that help cover the expenses to buy and review gear and run the site and channel. But I don't just link to any store. I track and vet around 100 online stores based all around the world. And I only recommend to you that you shop at about 30 and have affiliate relationships with only about half of them. So how do I pick those 30 from the 100? They have three things in common that the other stores don't. Number one, competitive prices. Number two, customer satisfaction ratings of at least 4 out of 5 stars from the independent rating services. And number three, a broad selection of enthusiast-level gear for both road and gravel cycling. You can see the stores I recommend, how I rank and rate them, and which stores I don't recommend and why in my review of the best online bike stores listed in the description box below. If you're new here and like what you're seeing in this video, give it a thumbs up. It will really help fellow cycling enthusiasts find this channel. You can also click that subscribe button in the bottom right of your screen to get more videos like this one. So I've told you now about In the Know Cycling. Let me tell you about my team of fellow testers. Like a lot of you and most other riders you may know, all of us are committed and enthusiastic cyclists with jobs, families, and other passions outside of cycling. We share the perspectives and interests of cycling enthusiasts, those who ride at least 4 days a week, 3,000 miles a year, and year-round for the pure love of cycling, for the way it energizes us, and sometimes for the competition, but always for the camaraderie it brings. My fellow testers and I are curious about new gear and figuring out which gives us the best performance and overall experience, and then sharing what we've learned with our fellow cyclists. But we aren't journalists or members of the cycling media. None of us have actually ever worked for a bike company or a bike shop or anywhere in the cycling industry. These aren't bad things. I certainly appreciate and respect what people who work in the cycling industry do. It makes it possible for us to ride the way we do. It's just that we don't work in the cycling industry, and I guess most of you don't either. Being cycling enthusiasts that don't make a living in the cycling industry allows us to tell you whatever we experience with the products we test without hesitation or concerns of a potential conflict of interest. My friends and fellow testers Nate, Miles, Aiyana, Conor, and Adam add perspectives and talents that complement and, in many cases, go well beyond my own. We ride mostly in the New England region of the United States, where we live and work, and where there's a great range of road and off-road terrain and events for testing road and gravel gear. Nate is a biomedical engineer who's been testing gear with me for at least a half dozen years. I've actually lost count how long it's been. But he leads the A group rides in our 400-plus member cycling club, including the Tuesday morning bullet train that moves along at 25 miles an hour or 40 kilometers per hour on an average ride. Nate also finishes on the Masters podium on some of the toughest hill climbs in the Northeast. Climbs like the Mount Washington Auto Road Bicycle Hill Climb, for example, where he's also finished in the top 10 overall on several occasions. In addition to riding on the road, he also does serious mountain, cyclocross, gravel, and fat biking. Nate's got more bikes than I can probably list without getting him into trouble. But they include a specialized S-Works Avenge and an S-Works Tarmac, a Cannondale cross bike, a giant Revolt advanced gravel bike, a fat bike, a commuter bike, and who knows what else. Fellow tester Miles teaches history and is a master's and P1-2 racer. He does 35 to 40 races a year, including regional crits, road races, stage races, cyclocross, and gravel grinders. As you can see in this video, he wins a bunch of them and is in the first group of finishers most of the time. He's been on the podium in his Masters age group at the USA Road and Mountain Bike Nationals and at the Pan Am cyclocross races. He's won the green jersey and the crit at the Green Mountain Stage Race and was 10th overall in the Vermont Overland Gravel Race last time he did it. He's a fast dude and also coaches junior racers. On the road, he rides a Giant Propel and a Cervelo R3, and he's got many, many more bikes for other disciplines. But before he showed them to me one day in his special clean room-like bike lair in what used to be, I believe, a regular basement, I had to sign a non-disclosure agreement. Aiyana has lived and raced around the world, has a career in finance, is raising a family, and still does 1 to 3 hour bike rides 5 to 6 times a week because, as she tells me, my legs and lungs allow me to explore. At almost 5'4" and around 120 pounds or 162 centimeters and about 54 kilograms, she's a superwoman and a damn good cyclist. She's got tons of energy and enthusiasm. Aiyana seems to have a bike for every season and activity. On the road, she'll be testing out a Liv Langema this season and also rides a Stork. On the trainer, she's got her retired BMC time machine, and around town, she rides a classic Triumph Townie. Off-road, you'll see her on a Velocity XC racing bike, a specialized stump jumper mountain bike, and a Moto Bacane fat bike for winter riding here in New England. My fellow tester Conor started racing mountain bikes in high school and rode with the team Fat Chance Junior Development. And he still has his Yo Eddie hardtail in his basement. Later he really got into road cycling and then cyclocross racing during the heyday of the Gloucester-Providence Holy Week here in New England, and he earned a bunch of podium finishes along the way. These days he does most of his cycling in rural Vermont, where he's a tax attorney and rides across that state's spectacular network of dirt, gravel, single track, and every other type of tough technical terrain. He's embraced and has had some respectably fast results in marquee gravel events in New England, including the Overland, Rooted Vermont, the Ranger, and the Guilford Gravel Grinder. Nowadays, he puts most of his miles on a giant Revolt Advanced gravel bike. Adam is a multi-sport, multi-talented mountain of a man. He's 6'4" and 250 pounds, or 193 centimeters and 115 kilograms. He's a former Ironman distance triathlete and currently does road cycling, mountain biking, and occasional gravel riding. He'll test the durability, strength, and weight limits of almost any cycling product. He's also been known to hop in a boat and race in the head of the Charles in his younger days. He trains 10+ hours a week now, motivated by his desire to maintain a healthy lifestyle, stay active, and enjoy ice cream. Adam doesn't do much racing these days, with 2 little kids at home and a busy job developing medicines, but he's out the door 5:30 a.m. most mornings, riding or running. He can be easily found in our club's Bullet Train B group, or hammering out front on his open mine on a fast flat. His smooth cadence, huge draft, and steady wheel makes him a magnet for others to attach to on a group ride. Off-road, he rides a Trek Super Caliber and a Cannondale Fat Cad on single track, and a giant TCX on gravel. And I'm that stereotypical aging cyclist, always looking to spend money wisely on gear that can help me get beyond the limits of my God-given 18 to 20 miles per hour, 30 to 32 kilometers per hour, 3 watt per kilogram or so endurance riding capabilities. Off the bike, I'm an engineer by training, but have spent most of my career as a business advisor. My clients ask me to help them come up with solutions to tough issues and recommend answers to complex questions that take a lot of research, analysis, and judgment. I've tried to combine this professional experience and my enthusiasm and knowledge of cycling to put you in the know. On the bike, I've been riding 5 or 6 days a week, about 5,000 to 6,000 miles a year or 10,000 miles a year for many, many years. I ride road centuries, gravel events, and really enjoy group rides. During the winter, I do a mix of indoor cycling and weight training, and as much as I can of my first love, downhill skiing. Comparatively speaking, I have just 3 bikes: a Parley Altum disc brake bike for the road, a Giant Revolt Advance for gravel, and the specialized Roubaix that you see over my shoulder that graces my trainer that cost about $3,000 new back in the day. So how do we test and review gear? Well, I and my fellow testers that I just introduced you to spend hours and hours riding, evaluating, and comparing products for each review. Typically, 2 or 3 of us will test the same piece of gear so we can bring different perspectives to the review. Perspectives that are from faster and slower riders, lighter and heavier ones, racers and group riders, on different terrain and different riding situations, etc. And while it's tempting, we don't share our impressions of the gear we're evaluating with each other. We take our own notes, compare the gear we're testing with the gear we've previously evaluated in the same category and against performance criteria I've set up, and then the notes get put away until all the testing is done. Only then I'll look at the individual notes and put them together into a review. We do this testing for a handful of products across an entire gear or kit category. Categories like all-around wheels or value-priced carbon wheels, men's and women's bib shorts, tubeless tires, gravel bike shoes, power meters, and a whole lot of others. I'll then condense down what we've found from reviews of individual products and make recommendations that are comprehensive and comparative and hopefully easy for most anyone to digest and act upon. I'll then put in links to the stores I recommend that have the products in stock at the most competitive prices, and I'll update that information regularly to keep it current. I encourage and get a lot of comments after each review. Fellow cyclists like you ask good questions, share your own experiences, and add to the knowledge and insight of the review itself. So that's what In the Know Cycling is all about, who we are, and what we do to try to put you in the know about what cycling gear to get next and where to get it. As I promised at the beginning of this video, here's how you can compare prices on over 75,000 products that we've curated and regularly update from 15 of my top-ranked online cycling stores. You can enter the name of any product you're interested in at the top of any page on the website and click on the Search Spyglass. You can see how the prices compare at different stores, and then click on the tab at the bottom of the listing to go straight to the product page at the store where you want to buy it. If you're not sure exactly what product you want or what model you want of a product, you can click on the Compare Gear Prices tab at the top menu of every page on the site, and then click on the category or subcategory of products you're interested in. You can then filter by price, brand, or store to narrow down your options. You can also do all of this within the In the Know Cycling app for both Apple and Android phones and tablets. You can download the app by clicking on the link above in this video or by going to the site inthenowcycling.com/shop. I hope you found this video helpful in getting to know us. I encourage you to comment below, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click on the links in the description box below to keep things rolling. Thanks, and see you again soon.